It's everybody who feels they can reach into your experience and influence you to be subjected to their lowest common experience of fear, whatever it happens to be.
Well, LaOta, I'm unavailable for it. I don't have any space or any room. I'm sorry, I can't take it on. But you can have it, though. You can do it.
Well, so what you are doing is the solution. What you are doing is you are protecting yourself. You're protecting your innocence. You're protecting your creativity. You're protecting the value you have in who you are and what you do by rejecting someone else attempting to move into your reality, which is inside your head. We are not in reality. Reality is in us. You know, my reality is in my head. I'm putting it out there.
That's a bar right there. We are not in reality. Reality is in us.
Right.
And that flip on perspective, I think, is everything.
Well, that's the truth of it. So you protect yourself by knowing who you are. Welcome to Call for the Truth. I am LaOta of the Sun, and this is Tarvars of the Sun, and we are happy that you're joining us today in our conversation. Today, we will be talking about suffering.
That's right.
Tarvars, before we begin, will you bring us into the Call for Truth?
Yes, to release our suffering. All right, so if you're tuning in, we encourage you to join us in the Call for the Truth. Shall we call forth the frequency of truth? Shall we call to see the truth in all that we see? Shall we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Shall we call to speak the truth in all that we say? Calling forth the courage to speak the truth. Shall we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? And we are in the truth.
Yes.
And I've heard that send yourself oneness and truth so that you may release your suffering.
Yes.
However, we're looking at this card pool today, and it is so pertinent. Every convo that I have with you is always micro, macro. What's happening in the immediate reality and what's happening with the larger collective. And so I do have a little story for this card, but we're looking at the Call for the Truth divination card, suffering, and this is through the lens of the solar plexus.
Yes.
There's a lot to be said about that. To worry is to suffer twice. You suffer by worrying, and then you manifest what you worried about, causing you to suffer again.
Right.
Sounds like suffering is a psyop.
I think it becomes a reality.
Yeah.
You know, but yes, it is inspired through things that are not the truth.
So, I want to share an experience. I'm about to fly right now. It's a little while at the airports. However, I check with my guidance and I continue to check. They're like, yeah, we gave you the green light. We knew ahead of time. We knew before you knew. It's appropriate to go this weekend, and it's a tight window because I don't see myself traveling in that way for some time. And so I've seen on social media people suffering in the lines at the airport. And I'm like, I'm not giving my attention to that. My head is not in the sand like an ostrich, right? But I'm aware I don't need to see the second, third, fourth, fifth episode of suffering at the airport across the nation. I got it. I'm good. I get a phone call from my mother. Well, you know the airports and you got to leave. And I could feel the worry. And I'm like, she don't know I'm a clear. Not like that.
Right.
Clear the path, clear the travel, clear TSA, clear the flight, do it all. But it was like she had to impress on me. I saw it was as though the darkness in my mother, or the fear, was trying to reach into me, into my solar plexus, to direct me and use my life force to create this and participate in that slither of reality of suffering. All the while I'm like, nope, that's not going to be my experience. I'm going to have a very different experience. I'm going to have a really good experience. Stop worrying. Keep that to yourself, mother. So I can see the power of taking it back, but it feels like it's so palpable, it's so ever pervasive. As though there are forces out there that want us to think the worst, direct our will into the worst case scenario. We'll use others, whether they're strangers or people we love and care about who are connected through the DNA, to try to get you to participate in the suffering mentally. And then next thing you know, you end up manifesting something crazy and be like, man, this is just like what I saw or what she said in the conversation.
It's very multidimensional. First, fear is the trick. So I'm on social media. I see something fearful. Ooh, I need to let somebody else know about this fear because fear travels through the ear. Fear, E-A-R, travels through the ear. Let me share, be afraid, and know I told you to be afraid so that no matter what happens, I have informed you to be afraid. So if it doesn't go well, I told you. And if by some chance it didn't, you were prepared to be afraid.
Wow. So you're planning on my downfall and you want to take credit for it. Sounds extremely insidious, but often I see that these people who are agents for darkness, or darkness is working through them as a proxy, they're not seeing it that way. They're seeing it as, I care about you. I just want you to make it safe. I want you to... It's like, this don't feel like care. There's a card that say love should look and feel like love. Yeah. But I didn't even want to call or speak because I knew the fear was going to go in my ear. And I wasn't ready.
So it really comes down to the person is a victim of the proximity to a system that broadcasts fear 24 hours a day. They are a victim of it unwittingly, but contrived. Like the idea is to keep everyone off balance, keep everybody afraid. So when you are afraid, you cannot think clearly. You do not make the right decisions. So she's already the victim of that experience, and the helplessness with which that experience leaves her, she attributes to everyone else. So if she's afraid of whatever she's afraid of, whatever the thing is, then she assumes you're afraid of the same thing.
No, Mom, I'm not scared.
And
I got a flashlight.
And then there's the idea that you are actually in the business of clearing things. We actually clear airports, clear travel, clear airplanes, clear the path for business and projects and medical and legal. That's the business we're in. So much is being broadcast in that statement.
Yeah. So much. It's, like you say, it's multifaceted.
It's multifaceted, and all of it is to say, I know you think you know who you are, but this fear is bigger than you think it is. You need to get on your knees and submit to the fear that I'm telling you about so that you can be fearful. I mean, there's no win. There's no bonus booby prize. The win is you're fearful. And then you experience the thing, which is what the card says. Then you experience the fear. Then, Mom, you were right. And
is that what all this is about?
No, but it is how it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what it's all about, because she's a victim of the same experience, and it's everybody's everybody. It's everybody who feels they can reach into your experience and influence you to be subjected to their lowest common experience of fear, whatever it happens to be.
Well, LaOta, I'm unavailable for it. I don't have any space or any room. I'm sorry, I can't take it on. But you can have it, though. You can do it.
Well, so what you are doing is the solution. What you are doing is you are protecting yourself. You're protecting your innocence. You're protecting your creativity. You're protecting the value you have in who you are and what you do by rejecting someone else attempting to move into your reality, which is inside your head. We are not in reality. Reality is in us. My reality is in my head. I'm putting it out there.
That's a bar right there. We are not in reality. Reality is in us.
Right.
And that flip on perspective, I think, is everything.
Well, that's the truth of it. So you protect yourself by knowing who you are. I'm a clearer. I'm unafraid. I have already checked with all of the sources I need to check with as to whether I should go somewhere. I have already done all the things. You protect yourself. You protect everything about you by having the clarity of who you are and having already checked. Like, you're not off balance, but you're not like, ooh, maybe I should have checked with my ancestors. It was all already settled.
Yeah, check. Already done. The only thing my mind is on is what I'm going to wear. That's it. It's like, decisions.
So the idea of recognizing where your reality comes from protects you, and using the mechanisms or whatever systems you have been taught that help you do that, then your innocence, you innocently will do the thing without corruption. But if you don't protect yourself, people will bring in corruption, and then there'll be suffering.
Yeah.
And your creativity will suffer, and your innocence will suffer. So we all have these experiences until we don't, until we create a reality where nobody dares to come in and try to change it for us.
That's right. It's my reality, Mom. Get your own. All right, so I want to share another aspect of this that I thought was interesting, because many people may likely relate to it. I saw that the worry required me to not only accept it, but it's like if I didn't accept it, it's as though it would settle for me to fight against it. It's like if I can't get that type of energy,
Yes.
then there's a tussle, and I saw myself pull back, and I was prompted from my guidance. Don't explain yourself. Matter of fact, they said, you don't even have to respond. I was like, you're right. It's like, no. And then I brought myself up, and then they said, okay, now you respond. And the frequency was flipped to this like, nah, 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 I'm happy, it's okay. This carefree, like childlike joy that, the suffering and the fear could not attach to.
Yeah.
And it really like dismissive of whatever that is. Like, no, you can have that. It's not that serious.
Yeah, it's so, I think I told you when you first told me about it, it's so like, fear me, like,
Yeah.
fear me, be afraid, I want you to be afraid, fear me. And you're like, nope. That's not my reality, that's yours. So in doing that, when you take hold of your own reality, there's no way in which you don't excel or exalt yourself, because it's always been yours, whether that happens or not. It was always up to you whether you would live or die on that flight.
True.
Always. It was never a matter that somebody would come in and scare you into dying or scare you into living, or if you decided, if you were leaning in that direction and you were willing to do that, you got on the plane and you're shaking in your boots because somebody told you something, then yes, you could affect and join on to other energies like that. But it's still this idea of you are doing it. It's still the worry twice. It's the suffering twice. The suffering exists once you agree to suffer. The suffering doesn't exist when you're like, I'm good, I'm happy anyway. The hell part is the suffering.
So what comes to mind is giving consent to the suffering, allowing it in, and looking at this through the lens of the solar plexus, because so much of this deals with light body. We have been moving up into the higher realms, but noticing like to get there, you got to strengthen this. Mm-hmm. And this solar plexus, I see where it really requires us to be more conscious, hands on the wheel, where we recognize what's happening and choose, in spite of what the field is saying, stay sovereign. stay free. At the same time, recognizing I'm not separate from my mother and from what this is, but I've been informed and I'm choosing, I see, nope, I'm choosing differently. I'm going to pulse something differently into the field because I see what the field is showing me.
Yes, and we have all of the evidence of what has happened to the people around us who are informing us. We have all of the evidence of their history to inform us, to let us know what acquiescence to fear does to us.
Yeah, it don't feel good.
Yeah, so the idea of protecting the purity of your solar plexus or your identity center, this is who you identify as. Do you outsource your sovereignty to a relative, to ancestry, to neighbors, to friends? Let me outsource. You are no longer sovereign if you're outsourcing your identity. Now you have become a puppet of someone else's fear or consternation, and you have lost your purity with self. So the identity and the innocence of who you are has to be protected. So we do this by knowing who you are and also being aware to arm yourself against those who come in and identify as be afraid, fear me.
So this is where I wanted to scale it up. There's always for so long been this collective broadcast of fear and perpetuated, especially on the global stage. I mentioned to you recently that literally within like the last 48, 72 hours, there's been this global broadcast of us kind of revisiting similar lockdowns from 2020, where this is like a global energy crisis, and we know there ain't no crisis. Like, come on now, this is ridiculous. It's being manufactured. But again, the worry of what will be, and then we actually give energy to. So would you speak to like, what's the best position to take when, because the world is about to move into that, and you often talk about critical mass is real. It happened in 2020. Everybody was feeling it, and it spread like wildfire. They're trying to use us again to manufacture critical mass.
Yes. So I think I'd like to start by saying that 2 years ago or 3 years ago or further out, what the landscape looked like ahead of us was different. It looked much more catastrophic, much more destructive. Not to say that it won't be, that we are in the middle of a decline of an empire. Empire is declining. However, as people become more and more adhering to or attached to or connected to the belief system that the structures that exist are in their favor, the more that happens, the less likely the belief that would allow for the most catastrophic or the worst possible thing to happen.
That's a powerful perspective.
Yes.
Because you're not looking for them to save you. It's like, oh no, what if I don't have the thing that I will lose?
Once we think that they are liars and cheaters and they are trying to kill us, it changes everything. So it really is a matter of how much of the Earth population thinks that way, but it is clear because we can see that the outcomes we thought were going to happen are not going to happen. The worst case scenarios, it's not going to be like that. And that changes. These are ongoing trajectories that keep moving forward, and we have to keep up with watching them. But the idea that you have enough time and enough knowledge to see that you could easily offset something by doing something that, you can situate yourself in a way where you can get and do things that you won't need to be dependent upon the structures that you have always been dependent on. And these things serve us because they disconnect us a little at a time. So if you stop driving an electric car that's killing you, if you stop having to sit in traffic and be annoyed, if the next thing that happens automatically lets the planet repair while it's getting less polluted, which is a positive side effect of COVID, the planet started to repair itself at astounding rates. So humanity could start repairing itself if it's set down for a minute, since you won't take since you won't stop buying stuff and doing things, then you know, this could be okay. We have gasoline at our house. We have a solar panel. We've got a few things. It's summer. We got a little time.
We got an atmospheric.
Yeah,
water
we got a
machine,
little
things,
time that we can do things. So it's wise to be prepared. It's not wise to be obsessed,
Yeah.
but it's wise to be prepared and to have the thought, you know, I think I'll ride my bike a little more. I think I'll, you know, let me figure out what's near me. I mean, who grows food nearby? You know, these are all important things to do without becoming obsessed with the fact that, you know, everything is going to end. We should always be thinking, what's the best thing that could happen from this? What's the best thing? The planet could start to rebound, and we could too. People can't get to fast food places, we can't buy the food. They can't get to the place where they print the meat. We won't eat printed meat. You know, like, what's the best thing that could happen? How could this serve us? How does this serve us? And so I encourage everyone to default to that. Let your default be whatever happens in your life that looks catastrophic. Go to the airport. What's the best thing that could happen to me in this airport? And then see what happens. Do it with intensity. Be delighted. Be excited about it. That's how we should approach the future. Because as we become more aware of loosening our bias and our prejudice that all of the agencies and all of the authorities that we thought were taking care of us are not, it's helping us. And it's not helping them.
No, not in the way they think. So.
And if we can do that without being overly negative, we can channel our energy into our creativity of how do we make something that makes it better? What can we individually and collectively do? What would we do if we didn't have something? Whatever we don't have, it's going to be very short. Whatever bridge we have to walk over, because humans like comfort. We will figure it out. We'll do the next thing.
Yeah.
We'll find out the thing that doesn't kill us. That's what we have to look forward to, and you are encouraged to know that the days of when you invent something, you get killed immediately, you are assassinated because the big companies don't want you to invent it, are already mostly over. And all of the things that are being hidden, 0-point energy, hydrogen cells, all of the many things, as people become more disgruntled, turns out people are the ones who are protecting those things. So as they become more disgruntled, there'll be leaks and whistleblowers, and it will become available. This is the best possible experience. We cannot build upon the Epstein files. We can't build a church to worship in upon that. It has to be completely deconstructed. So, that's...
I'm processing and seeing how this lands for humanity, and I think these are very powerful insights. And again, that's one of the solutions of changing our perception of it. What's the best outcome? What's the best thing that could happen with this? And we stay in our power, and not allowing the outside signal to influence us.
That's so good. Hold the signal. If the signal is inside your head, if the signal inside your head says, move to a smaller house, spend less money, drive a cheaper car, and then you're challenged by the cultural perception of where you live or what you do, you're not obeying your signal. You're still connected and attached to the signal that's broadcasting from social media, because there isn't anyone else telling you what kind of house to live in or what kind of car to drive, or that you need an airplane or your body remade. That's you listening to the signal that's being broadcast that's in destruction of humanity. And so there's no one to appease but yourself. Do the thing that makes sense for you, that makes you happy, that you're willing to do, and pay no attention to the desires and noise that other people have. You may hear it, but pay no attention to it. Flip it into that the future will not be the way the past was. And that people who can see that will be more successful quicker than people who don't. So the suffering is really all in our own hands.
It's powerful.
Yes. So did you have any final thoughts?
No, I think I'm looking forward to having a really smooth trip.
Yes.
As you know, that many of my flights have been rather smooth, and
You're a clearer, aren't you?
yeah,
You must be a clearer.
I
You
am.
buzz right through those lines.
I am. It's
You don't even
wow.
you don't even let them X-ray you. You don't let
No.
them do any of that, and you buzz right through
And
it.
they let me skip. It's
Yeah.
weird, but that's the power of clearing.
It is the
So-
power of playing. So we thank you for joining us. We hope that this conversation about suffering has been beneficial, and that these ideas will help you navigate without suffering in the future. Thank you so much. In Lakesha Veritas, with honor, respect, gratitude, integrity, discipline, and action. Thank you.